Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind podcast. On this week's show, not gonna lie, we were going to recap the Sapateiro $100,000 bracket and also preview the IBJJF 2025 Pan American Championships. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, my co-host,
Josh.
Newsflash, this is a little odd of intro. We are not going to do that. It has been a very interesting week. This show is mainly going to consist of the 2025 Pans preview. It's going to be a pretty quick show, not going to lie. I will explain here in the intro why. We don't have a lot of news today. We were originally scheduled to recap the Sapateiro $100,000 165 bracket.
160?
160, yeah. 160 bracket.
155, something
great bracket,
like that.
really exciting bracket. There's some highlights going around that are great. Miranda bought the pay-per-view. She watched it. She was like, good matches. There's some good stuff. Flo has a write-up. Jits Mag has a write-up. I was like, awesome. Behind the curtain, we typically record this show on Monday evening for a Tuesday release. It's about 7:15 right now p.m. Pretty standard recording time for us. I went, cool. Miranda texted me today, or last night. She was like, hey, I am sick. I cannot do the show this week. And I was like,
She
awesome.
texted the whole group.
And I was like, awesome. And Josh was like, I can do the show. We're good. I was like, hey, we're doing Sapateiro. Josh was like, haven't watched it yet. Awesome. I'll buy the pay-per-view at the house. We'll watch it. We'll do a long extended pre-show for an hour or two, watch the thing, take some notes, and then we'll be good to go. And we will recap Sapateiro because, again, looking at some of the write-ups from Flo, seeing some of the highlights, like, looked pretty exciting. I text Miranda. I was like, hey, do you happen to have your pay-per-view link? And she goes, yeah, but I can't. Has no replay. I was like, okay, whatever. Josh and I will buy it again and rewatch it. We sit down to do the pre-show at about 6 o'clock, about an hour ago. And we go click, and we go to Eventbrite. And Eventbrite goes, hey, this is not available.
It's over.
To restream. You cannot watch this. And Josh and I go, well, that's troubling. We have an entire show mainly consisting of the recap of this event that we are scheduled to record in about an hour
now,
because that's what we do here. So we went, okay, well, what are we going to do? And so we looked up some highlights and went, I don't really want to cover it on highlights. It was a neat enough bracket. It is enough money going to the athletes that I would like to cover it in more depth. So we find a post from Sapateiro. Sapateiro goes, hey, we're going to restream the entire thing on YouTube starting at 7 p.m. I looked at the clock. I did some math and I went, this is going to be approximately a 3-hour event. My guess is it's going to drop as a premiere, which it did, which means you can't go forward in time to see the event. So that, like, the bracket matches that we would want to cover, we can't click through to only watch those so we can cover them. And I'm going, cool, it's 7:15 now. That is what's happening. We can't watch this event. We can't recap this event because essentially the event's not going to finish until after this show needs to be out. And we need to edit it, and Josh needs to go home to his family. So there was some neat stuff happening. I do want to run through some of the results because if we may or may not get a chance to actually cover it next week. Just an FYI, if you're going to run an event, please, if somebody buys the pay-per-view, let them restream it or have a way that they can rewatch the event. Also, the event is running right now. It has no audio. Josh LeDuc, the promoter for the show, said that essentially the matches will be uploaded individually with audio. So right now, if you watch the restream, there is no audio, which is kind of tough. But that has been Josh and I's day so far. So we are going to talk really quickly through basically just some of the matches, some of the highlights that we saw, because DeAndre Corbray had a pretty fantastic run. And so I want to talk about a few of his matches, and then we'll move on to IBJJF Pans. It will probably be a shorter show. Josh, have I missed anything that is pertinent here? Or is there any news while I get the right screens up here?
No. Let's see. What? They announced Liz Clay versus Helena Cravar, who's number one.
That got announced?
Yeah.
Ooh, I missed that.
Is
it really? Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Have I scrolled past it 14 times looking for information?
Probably.
Okay. Oh, also, Cicerelli got announced for Polaris Squads as well.
Is it Cicerelli or Ciccarelli? I always mess it up. She's pronounced it before, and I still mess it up.
I didn't know there was two ways, Josh. I've always just pronounced it Margot Cicerelli.
It's probably that, and I'm...
So she got announced. Again, I'm really happy with... It's on Polaris Squads, by the way. Team America Team North America versus Team Europe. we have Fionn and Helena on that event. Now we have Cicerelli. Like, I'm really happy with the caliber of women that they're getting on that event. Sorry, Josh. Let me get back to this while you fill for news.
That's fine. They announced Mika re-signing for a couple of more. What's it called? Events for who's number
Matches
one.
for who's number one. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I saw something as well. Maine hates when I look at my phone, but I'm going to look at my phone right now.
You get distracted, Josh, when you look at your phone.
I think he wrote something about Shudo Brazil, like he might be doing MMA.
They're discussing. Basically, he was talking about his mom doesn't want him to make the transition over to MMA yet. I don't either. I want him to keep doing some jiu-jitsu because he's got a little more jiu-jitsu left that I want to watch him murder guys with for a little bit before he moves on to punchy-kicky, Josh.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. I also hate that the translation function does not.
It translates in like batches, which was weird. It's Mika. If you look at Mika Gaval's match, his Instagram post that has the re-signing with Flo and the belts and his family there. It's broken up with like a paragraph in Portuguese, and then if you translate a paragraph in English, Portuguese, English, it's like back and forth in a really funny way, and then you get the gist of what he's saying. But again, I'm really happy that they at least have signed and put money behind Mika to continue to showcase him on Who's Number One, because honestly, usually his matches on Who's Number One are some of the most exciting on the card. So anything that gets me seeing that guy in more super fight matchups, I'm really, really excited. Again, we talked about it a little last week, talking about money in the sport. UFC also has allegedly put in like 10 or 12 million over the next couple of years into jiu-jitsu. We are very curious where that pans out to. But again, they seem pretty committed to the Fight Pass Invitational. I would love them to actually get ADCC for a broadcast deal. Like, that would be cool. I like the interface for Fight Pass. I think it has a really smooth streaming service. So, like, that would be really cool like they had before. Again, they've done ADCC. They have all the highlight videos from ADCC, and all the old ADCCs that are on Budo video are on Fight Pass. So that would be cool.
Or you just have them on DVD sitting in your basement.
There is that as well. Yeah.
My basement.
You got those. So, anything else for news, Josh?
No.
All right, let's run through really quickly as I muck up all the pages here we have open.
High level professionalism here.
Mm-hmm. Look, I have not been thrown off on a recording, but again, behind the curtain, this much in like a couple of years.
It's been a while.
Where it's like, podcast host is sick, event changes, can't find event. It's like, okay, I like consistency and schedule, which is why I've been able to put the show out for the past 8 years, every single week consistently. That's how I operate.
Except for that 1 week of
the third
Christmas,
episode. The third episode we did was on a Christmas.
We tried to do it.
We were just like,
while I was in Florida, and
forgot about this.
It just would not work. And you were like, it's fine. We can miss a week.
We can miss a week.
After that, I don't think we have.
That was episode 3. We bumped by 1 week, and then I was like, we're just never gonna miss a week again. And here we are, 378 episodes later, without in a row. So. Champion results. I'm going to run through them real quick. We had Pato defeating Jordan Holy via triangle choke. Pato gets a crazy...
Snatched it. We did catch this before we started recording, where he just grabbed up his arm, caught him in like a sort of omoplata position.
Yeah, like almost like a Tariqa Plata, almost. But Holly is like up still and standing up, which is really, again, it's Pato, man. He's going to... I'm actually pretty surprised he didn't take this whole thing, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, but there was some online discussion about that as well.
I've gone over that. We're going through the highlights that we have seen. This is not a full event recap. If we get stuff wrong, apologies. This is what we're working with this week.
Own up to it. We're just going to say what happened. Gavin Corbray shot Jet Thompson, and that's how we won. Now, Gavin Corbray defeats Jet Thompson via decision 2-0.
Yeah, 2 points. DeAndre Corbray beat Manning Leverett via armbar. Cade Tristos beat Tristan Sains via decision. Josh Cisneros beat Anthony Molina via armbar. Gianni Grippo beat Weather Mercales via rear naked choke. That is a Gianni Grippo special.
Mercialis?
Weather Merciales. Yeah, rear naked choke. Ethan Culliston beat Reese LaFleur via points.
Fever.
It is Lefevre, isn't it?
Yes,
I always call him LaFleur. Max Hansen defeat Julian Espinoza 3-0. That's a weird first round matchup to make. Like Espinoza and Max Hansen. It's interesting bracketing. I would expect those guys to go in the quarterfinals, not in the first round. Diego Pato defeated Gavin Corbray via decision. DeAndre Corbray defeated Cade Tistos via decision. Josh Cisneros beat Gianni Grippo via decision. DeAndre beat Cade via points. Ethan submitted Max Hansen with a rear naked choke. On to the semifinals. We've seen a little more of these in the highlights. We had DeAndre Corbray defeating Diego Oliveira via decision. This was a lot of Pato playing guard, which is what he's...
Yes and no. So the highlights that I've seen...
Yeah.
Some of it, and we caught part of it before we started recording. Pato snatched up a footlock, and I have not seen Corbray react to anything like that before. It looked like
he almost scream taps. You see him go. You see him
made
go
the face.
Open mouth and go and in a way that like I have not seen DeAndre ever do.
And maybe it was just like
woo.
a reaction, and it wasn't like painful, but I find that hard to believe.
Dude, the face he made
opinion
on that foot, like Pato grabs essentially like an outside ankle lock, and then bellies down with it as DeAndre tries to like kind of run him out, but kind of roll out of it. And you see DeAndre as he goes to make this roll go, oh, and it was like, whoa, that was a face that the camera caught you making that looked like that was extremely uncomfortable in the way that Pato grabbed that leg, which is wild because Pato must have a crazy squeeze on that based on the positioning of where he was.
This is like Shashinsky when we're like, what does it feel
like? Yeah, why does Mateusz Szynski, why does he grab your foot and immediately everyone just goes, I'm done. Nope.
Yeah.
It looked like that where it's like you're in a position where you can finish, but usually not of guys of this caliber to force this reaction, to have DeAndre immediately go, ooh, and like that is an uncommon level of squeeze that Pato had on that leg in control. Again, the legs were open. You can still break the guy's foot even from that open leg position, belly down there, but it was just... Josh and I both watched it and caught it and went, ooh, that was a really interesting exchange they have included in this highlight for this match.
Yes, and the other thing was reading stuff online. Hello, RBJJ.
What's up?
They were like, I'm not mad at the decision, but I don't agree with it. And there, in the highlights, again, it was showed like there were some positions where DeAndre transitioned and like somewhat settled into like side control, and it might have gone further. Don't know. Haven't been able to watch it.
Watching a highlight,
exactly. But it's cool. Like DeAndre's keeping up that level, which he should be doing.
Then that's
still like plugging away.
That's the really cool thing I think about this match is that it shows like DeAndre, because he went to ADCC. We know he's again on that level, but has not been able to punch up to the level of Pato, being able to take, again, a close enough match to be able to win a decision. It is, again, decisions like, hey, it's not close, it is close, it is a robbery. It's not. No one is saying it's a robbery. Everyone's kind of going, yeah, it was close. I'm not sure, and we talk about this every week with Fight Pass or with Who's Number One. Like, yeah, it's close. I would kind of go either way. To be able to have a match like that with the 2-weight Who's Number One champion, multiple-time ADCC medalist, monster world champion, to be able to have a close match and then take a decision off that guy, even if it's close, speaks worlds to the level that DeAndre is on and the consistency of training and like the skill development that he's being able to make. Because we'll talk about Pato, because Pato is in a bracket for IBJJF Pans versus Dodolin.
I think that might have led to a decision that we were reading about too after we discussed this.
Okay. So it again has been really interesting to watch. I think Pato is in some of the best form he's ever been in. So for DeAndre to beat him, super, super impressive. Other match here we got in the semifinals. We have Josh Cisneros defeating Ethan Krellenston via decision, 5-0. Seems, again, 5-0 on ADCC points is a decent lead on points. These guys have been against each other before. Go back and watch their ADCC 2022 match. It's wild. Krellenston looks like an action figure, and Josh Cisneros is doing everything he can to put him away. It's kind of just it's not a great style matchup for Ethan, and Cisneros. Again, I expect, based on the points here, that it looked somewhat similar to stylistically how their 2022 match. Again, I haven't seen any highlights from this, but again, it did make me want to go back and watch their 2022 match because it was that was a wild match. And Carlson has talked about that match numerous times on the podcast that they have, Simple Man. And I think it's really interesting. It's a match that I like to go back and watch because it's just a really fun match. And it was right in front of our section the entire time, so I really enjoyed it. Finals match, we had DeAndre Corbray defeating Josh Cisneros via a knee bar. We'll talk about the finish.
So with this, what's wild is like if you only caught like the ending part of it, you don't know how the setup starts. But DeAndre was like actually like on top-ish and was like eventually dove underneath and like started coming on and attacking it, and then it just became like a rolling through, like trying to weave the legs. He stepped over for a. Ooh,
That's why.
if you didn't hear that, I was talking in the wrong side of the mic. He stepped over for a leg entanglement, trying to go for a heel hook, and like it just devolved from there for Cisneros, and then just continual readjustments as they were moving through the positions, and then DeAndre finally nabbing that knee bar, which again on the highlight looked cool.
It looked really cool.
I would love to try to like watch the minute or two lead up to it beforehand.
Kind of give you some more context for how they got there. Maybe there's a tactical change or a decision making that happened. Again, these matches are always fun. I always love when you have a big finals match that ends in a sub. Again, it sucks to see Cisneros get submitted, but it is always really
you
nice.
like seeing submissions.
It is nice. It's also nice when there are really big stakes on the line and you have like two guys. I think Cisneros and DeAndre are in very similar places in their career in no-gi.
Oh, in their career. I thought you meant just in life, because if it's still true, DeAndre's still like a 9 to 5er.
I think he's still, because we're close to standard, his gym. I think he's I'm not gonna say what he does, but like I
think he's an engineer.
Yeah, he's like an engineer, smart guy. Still does it, I think. My understanding is he still does that job. Him and his brother both still have like regular jobs, which is crazy to be at that level.
And have a regular ass
job.
like demanding job, and then you're like, I'm gonna do this whole job, and then I'm gonna go and train, and then I'm gonna go beat Josh Cisneros,
Pato, and then Cisneros back to back
for $100,000.
That's crazy. He probably makes more than that as an engineer.
Possibly, yeah.
Probably, yeah. Based on the kind of engineering I think he does. So again, it's
Most
cool.
engineers make good money. Here we are. Hey, what's up, engineers?
What's up, engineers? Shout out to you guys. You guys are great. Yeah, it was just cool. Again, I really love when you have a finals match for two guys that are like on the younger side that are going for it and looking for subs, and it's cool. Again, a lot of production problems we're having, a lot of like access problems we're having with it. Again, I would love for an event of this caliber for us to be able to cover it in more depth, but we just can't, and that's really unfortunate. I would love to see them use a real streaming service in the future, like Fight TV or like Fight Pass or Flow or something, where it's like, hey man, I'll pay for it. You put $100,000 on the line and you put this caliber guy, like I'll support it. I want to support it. I wanted to buy the event. We just couldn't, and that's unfortunate. I think $25 for pay-per-view is steep, but also you're putting up $100,000. Like I understand that money has to come from somewhere, and I want to see the athletes get paid. If you want to see athletes get paid, you got to put your money where your mouth is and buy a pay-per-view now and again. I would have loved to be able to support it and watch it, purchase it, but I couldn't watch it live, and so we're here. So I got to end on a bitch note.
There was supposed to be a third place match too between Pato and Curlinston, but Pato decided not to do it, and I'm wondering if that was because he had Pans coming up.
Also, it's what do you? I don't think there's any
I don't
money.
know.
I don't think there's any money on the line
But
for
you know
a
what
third
you
place
do?
match.
You know what you just take that as a victory. I'm Ethan Curlinson. I gotta walk over.
I got to walk over win on
Pato.
Pato. That is fun. And he seems the guy that would be like, they'll laugh about that.
Yeah,
like
like joke around it.
Yeah,
It's like I got to win over him.
So again,
walk over.
Really cool tournament. Again, I love the support and the athletes, paying them out big money. This has been part of a much, much longer series of events that Sapateiro has done for qualifiers. It looks like they are going to do the similar thing again. Again, I would love to see it get momentum. I like that they're using 80cc points and rules. I just would love some of the production and actual like product stuff coming out to our side to be a little cleaner so that, again, we can cover it, we can watch it. I can bring people. Again, these are the kind of events that I would love to have like folks over for. Hey, $100,000 tournament. Come over, watch some jiu-jitsu. Like
Bring some food. You don't have to pay. Just bring some food.
I'll buy a $25 pay-per-view. It's expensive, but if you're giving
in the scheme of pay-per-views, it's not. But
for jiu-jitsu, like $10 to $15 is usually the cap. But again, the prize pool for going to those guys is usually $10,000. Mm-hmm. If you're paying guys $100,000, like, okay, you have earned more of my money because why? Because that's moving into the community, into the athletes that you're supporting. Like I'm willing to support that with my money because you are putting your money into the sport, into the athletes, into the community, and that's what we're out here for. So, and that's again been one of Josh and I's biggest champions for the show is like we try to cover events that pay their athletes and pay cash prizes, and that's been kind
we want everybody to get paid.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, preview for IBJJF.
They get paid.
Pans. No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
At Pans now?
I think so.
At Worlds, they get paid. Pans, no. It's an amateur tournament still. I don't think it is a paid tournament. If it is.
I thought they got paid for the majors. Maybe I'm incorrect. I don't remember.
They may now, but I remember when the first year that you and I covered the Worlds, there was a payout for the Worlds. That wasn't
I think it was like
5 years ago.
$5,000.
It changes based on like how many registrations there are, and like there's a whole matrix to it essentially of how they pay out people. But IBJJF Pans, let's talk about it, Josh. We have some brackets.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about IBJJF having a terrible website.
Dude, no, we beat this dead horse. The brackets are impossible. We've been doing this for 8+ years. The brackets are still impossibly.
Let me hover over a name. That's it.
No, you can hover over the other names. You just can't hover over the number one competitor's name.
Because it hides inside of the number
of competitors.
Because, programmers.
Go back and listen to the last 8 years of this show if you want to hear us complain about IBJJF.
Hey, we were really nice about him for the first couple of years, okay?
First, 3, I think. Yeah, we were.
And
nice.
then the
UAJJF came along. We're like, this is way better. Do it this way. Holy crap. So, moving on to the ultra heavyweight division. One piece of note. So Josh and I in the pre-show went through all these brackets to just pick out some things we were looking for, so nothing would surprise us. The majority of the registrations for this tournament are 4 teams. AOJ, Art of Jiu-Jitsu, which is registered as 2 gyms, and they do that for bracketing reasons, and because you can only have a certain amount of people registered per division, it makes sense for how IBJJF makes you do bracketing. Atos, that used to be, AOJ and Atos used to be the same affiliate, now they've been different for a couple of years now. And then you have and then the majority of your other gyms are Alliance, Gracie Barra. Those 4 teams or 5 teams probably make up a third, if not more, of all of the registrations that we have looked at. They absolutely make up the majority of the top 1 through 3 or 4 competitors. I think this will be the year that we see AOJ and Atos, again, they're different teams nowadays, but just those 2 teams in Cali, take home the majority of medals in this tournament. It wouldn't surprise me for something like that to happen here.
So you're looking at that, but that's the reality in black belt, not in all of the other belts.
No, I agree. But on the show, we cover the black belt divisions.
Yes.
And that's because on the show, we primarily only cover adult black belt because there are so many kind of other X factors. And there's the time factor as well, like where we can commit our time to actually talking about and watching matches and doing analysis and breakdown and talking about the landscape of the sport. In the amateur belts and the lower belts, we try not to spend too much time there because there are just so many other X factors. When those people become essentially top level pro competitors at black belt, like the lower belts are for growth and for development. Once you get to black belt, you are then refining your professional skill set at the lower belts. So it can be expected that you don't have all those skills. That's kind of the point of how the belt system exists. It's been kind of wonked around with the way that IBJJF does their divisions at the lower level nowadays, but we cover adult black belts in the long and the short of it. In the ultra heavyweight division, I think we have 2 frontrunners in this division. We have Trator and we have Gutenberg Pereira. They're ranked number 1 and number 2. We also have, this isn't Roosevelt Souza, is it? It's Roosevelt. Oh, it is Roosevelt Souza. He just registered as Carrasco Jiu-Jitsu, not fight sports. That is interesting.
Did he leave?
I don't know, but he is the only other guy in this division. And again, everyone in this division can absolutely make the top, can beat everyone. But I think that Gutenberg takes this division over Trator.
You might think that, but like Marcus Ribeiro is also in this division from Alliance, so there's a good possibility that, and the same thing with Guilherme Santos, like they're both in the division, and yeah, Trator and Gutenberg are probably front runners more than likely. But you never know.
Yeah. There's about 8 gallons of water on my kitchen floor.
Oh, that's what you were going over
And
there
that was
for?
the dog was into it. And I realized the bucket of water had overflowed, and there's a big problem now. So my life is in shambles, Josh. Let us continue.
Shambles.
Let us continue on. I'll clean it up in a minute here. Let's continue on. Just this whole week's show has just gone
It's
off the rails more than
fantastic.
any other show we have ever had. The show that I had back surgery on 3 days before, I feel like was smoother than this show.
Dude, watching you get up after that was painful.
It was painful. On to the super heavyweight division, a division of 13. The ultra heavyweight division was a division of 11. The front runners for this one, I can't believe that there's a giant puddle in my kitchen right now. Just the reality of like the next problem I have to deal with in this house is just setting in, and it is very fun to me right now. This is a division that's very up in the air. You have no returning champions. Your maximum point holders for this division are going to be Mateus Rodriguez Souza from AOJ. He has 326 points. Your number one ranked guy is Wilson Alves. Your second ranked guy is Paulo Henrique Marlin, both from Gracie Barra. For me, this is a big kind of toss-up division. I think we're definitely going to be having a new front runner come out of this. Again, you do have Winston Alves as the last year's brown belt world champion, which does explain why he doesn't have as many points, but he still has 205 points. He does have 108 Grand Slam points right now. I don't think the points transfer over from brown to black. They never have.
They might. Well, with the rule that they changed to where you have to have X amount of points, or if you were last year's
Champion.
Yeah,
For Worlds, I don't remember. They've been moving around a lot of the way they do point structures for IBJJF, and I don't remember if any points transfer over at Brown, so he could have points from that as well, but
Or he could just be racking it up before this.
neither which would surprise me. Again, super heavyweight for me is pretty up in the air. Josh, any kind of thoughts on this one?
it's pretty up in the air.
Yeah. On the heavyweight division, we have Adam
Wardzinski's
Wardzinski.
division.
He's the first. Not first place. He's the top
the number
ranked
one seed.
2024 world champion, but in the division as well, ranked number 2 on the opposite side of the bracket is Gustavo Batista. Division of 12 in total. We also have Pedro Henrique in that 3rd slot and Lucas Norat in the 4th slot. You were talking on the pre-show, Josh.
Oh, you didn't see who was up here, did you? That will have to go against Gustavo.
Ooh,
You know who that is, right?
That's Jimenez.
Yes, that is.
Oh, I missed that.
That'll be a cool match.
Oh, that'll be really. So we have
If that happens.
on the right side of the bracket. I mean, if Roberto Jimenez can get past this first match from Thiago Cesar out of Logic Jiu-Jitsu, he will go on to face Gustavo Batista in the quarterfinals match. Or sorry, in the round of 8, and then that'll be a really interesting match. I think Batista will beat him in the gi. But I kind of think this will be an annoyingly close match for
It could be,
Batista.
but, we also said that Jimenez versus Elder Cruz was going to probably be a boring match, and then
He flying
Jimenez
armbar
was
the
like,
guy.
Nah.
I missed him in the pre-show. That's super annoying. I missed him. Oh, that's crazy.
You didn't? I thought, maybe I just didn't. I saw it.
Well,
and I
he's
was-
at heavyweight now. Like, for Roberto Jimenez, I've missed his, transition up the weight classes now. And because he's, 200 plus now.
He's all over the place, anywhere between 180 and 220.
Yeah. But he usually, I think, competes right above a little over 200. How many points does he have? He's been doing a bunch of IBJJFs recently. He has 166 points right now. We covered a match from him a couple of weeks ago. It was him versus, I just exited the match on the pre-show.
That dude from GF team that's up in the top corner that might have to go up against Wardzinski if he wins his match. Saldana, he's from around here.
Oh, is he too?
That's that he's I think he might be cutting to get to heavyweight.
Okay.
But that dude is like solid. Do you remember that one super fight where it was like he was a brown belt at the time, but the other guy had absolutely no business going up against him at Liquid Swords?
Oh,
He just like styled on him.
Local
and then,
super fight promotion to us.
But then he was also on Fight to Win, that last Fight to Win in the area.
Yeah.
And also styled on that guy. So
Okay, interesting.
Or wait, was he against Dave Adams?
Regardless,
No, but that'll be a cool match because that kid puts on a pace.
it would be fun. Well, I think Adam Wardzinski takes this. You were talking about,
but he would go against him, and that would be a cool match.
it would be cool. I think you said Wardzinski's taken the last two over Batista. You think off memory?
Offhand, he beat him at Crown. And think he beat him at Worlds too, right?
I think that seems correct because Felipe Andrews is suspended right now.
We could bring it up.
We could, but we're not going to, Josh. This show has already gone off the rails enough. I'm going Adam Wardzinski. I'm going Adam Wardzinski until he loses like 3 or 4 worlds in a row, and then I'll be like, he'll get him on the next one.
Did we ever bring up that he's going to Vegas?
Yes, we did a couple weeks ago. He's going to the gym with Canuto.
Yeah.
So that'll be we talked about like that would be fun to drop into. So I'm going Adam Wardzinski. I'm going to Adam Wardzinski till he is no longer in the division. Big fan of that guy. I talked about it when he won the Worlds. I very rarely fan on the show. I like Adam Wardzinski.
Dude, he just seems like such a cool dude.
Metalhead, cool guy. Does nice jiu-jitsu that I like a lot. On the medium heavyweight division, much bigger bracket here, a division of 26.
Oh boy.
Big front runner in the division is
Francisco Lowe.
Yeah. Who's over at medium heavy. Oh, no, that makes sense for him. Rafael dos Anjos, the BJJ. Rafael dos Anjos is in this. We also have other big names. We have Sergio Tulio is in this.
Andre Nascimento.
Jose
Brad
Ortiz.
Hill.
Yep, Bradley Hill's in here as well, ranked all the way at 19th. But again, always kind of weirdly in the mix and like will frequently have upsets. You're like, oh, look at that. Brad Hogue made it like all the way into the quarters. Like pretty far.
For sure. That is Mateus Luna. I always see that's the thing that gets me.
Yeah, Lira Luna. Yeah, okay.
Mateus Luna also in that bracket.
Yep.
Front runner for sure. That'll be
I kind of for me for IBJJF picks, I mostly go with your top ranked guys because
you just go with your gut.
No, you usually go with the top ranked guy. Like
their
I go
thing
with number
is based
one
purely on points. You could have so many points.
You could, but I think Francisco Lowe is.
Look at the Grand Slam points right now. He's got 39.
And the next highest person has 18 points.
Yeah, and overall points 232 to 68. Right, number 2 is 68.
No. But look at the other points. They're not in line.
They're not in line. Which is weird to me. But whatever.
So I'm going Francisco Lowe for medium heavyweight. Middleweight, this is a fun one. We have a division of 20 here. Tynan Daupra is in this division. We also have
Tarek Hopstock is blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're at this one. You're doing this one. We're not doing up here where you can sort of see the names.
I was moving around a little bit. We have Tynan and Tarek on the same side of the bracket. If they meet, they will meet in the what is this? Round it
quarters.
No, because we have the final. We have the bracket over here.
Oh
no, yeah, you're right. You're right, quarters. So we have this, and then we'll go semifinals, and then let me in the quarterfinals there. That should be fun. As Maine learns how to read a bracket. You picked up something really interesting as well.
Oh, yeah.
That this division, we have the return of Alec Balding. Well, not
I think he's done it, but it's just like seeing him in majors is really cool, and he has the potential to go against Rolando Sampson. That would be, I think that would be an interesting match.
Yeah. Again, I forget the last time we've been able to cover an Alec Balding match. It might have honestly been like right around his trials wins. That may be the last time that we've actually covered most of his matches. But that is cool to see him back. On the other side of the bracket here, we have Andrew Murasaki and Pedro Henrique Maya from Six Blades. I kind of think that Murasaki probably takes that through, and we get another rematch between bracket 2 and bracket 1 with Murasaki versus Tynan. It's always been close, but Tynan kind of seems to have Murasaki's number, and
yeah, I agree with
you. Like
you.
I want to kind of have more analysis of like what needs to happen or what's been happening, but really it's like Tynan seems to have Murasaki's number.
It'll be interesting to see how like his hand holds up as well.
There's
a potential of
hand.
Johnny Tama versus Pedro Maya down on that same half of the bracket as well. You know,
Cool to see Johnny Thomas still in the mix.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
I think it will be a Andy Murasaki versus Tynan final.
I mean, that's your 1 and 2, and that's also what we've seen at a couple of majors. We keep seeing that matchup kind of happen with Daupre taking it. At black belt, Daupre has always taken that, and it's like I would want more analysis, but unless you are a disqualification or Jansen Gomez, I'm not picking against Tynan in IBJJF at middleweight. Like I'm just not gonna do it.
Hopefully he doesn't bring his leg over and magically explode somebody's
I'm
knee.
really curious how his hand looks. That's really.
I think he's just gonna have it taped to hell again.
I am curious if he limits its use as much as we have seen him limiting its use. Because he beat Murasaki last time with the broken hand, but like the hand doesn't look good. He is very limited with what he has been doing with the hand. If you watch him play, he'll use it here and there, but he does not grip up like he used to grip up with that hand. He doesn't level into that grip like he used to. Very curious if he changes his game around that injury, or if now it's healed and now we see him use it more. It's the big X factor for me for Tynan. I'm still going to pick him kind of confidently.
It's at almost 5 o'clock Eastern time. That match happened. Well, the winner of his first match will be at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, on Saturday.
So
on to anything else on that bracket, Josh?
No.
On to the lightweight division. We have a division of 26. Again, one of the bigger divisions for the men. Kevin Mahek is in this division. We got Jackson the Guy in this division.
we
got
have the
Nathan
Nagai
Chung.
brothers.
Yeah, we have Sam and right? We have Sam and.
Yeah, Sam's in there somewhere.
Where is Sam? I thought he was in. Was he in? Is one lower? Is he in Feather? Yes,
That's why.
Sam's in Feather.
Yeah,
Jackson's in
Oopsie.
lightweight. Again, Jackson the Guy, your 2024, world title. It is weird that it is not listed in the world title slot. If you look at the registration, it's listed as former world champ last year, which is just IBJJF going to IBJJF and charge you for it. We have Mateus Gabriel, also a world champion. Again, Mateus Gabriel is a world champion. Oh, they do have it listed still, 2019. I was like, he is so long ago that it's not even listed in the last 3 editions. But neither, again, is
an
Jackson the
interesting addition in this one is Fabiuri. Is that how you say his
name? Yeah,
Fabi.
I can't get his last name because I can't read it right now. It's
highlight it. Go down to the number 6 spot and highlight it.
Good point.
We're already off the rails anyway. Who cares? Freitas.
Yeah, but the middle one, he goes by the...
Fabiuri Christian.
Yeah.
There we go. Teixeira Freitas. Nailed it.
I'm really... he's a guy that's been on our radar. I'm really interested to see him, just continue to see him, because he's an AOJ guy. He's a big prospect that a lot of people have their eyes on, and I'm just curious. Again, he's in Jackson the Guy's bracket because they're both in bracket 1. So, again, he eventually will start having upsets. Again, the guy's super hard to get around, but...
Yeah,
I'm very, very curious if they do end up matching up, because it's very possible, given both of their seedings, that they'll meet in the finals of bracket 1.
Yeah, man, I really do not like the way they set this up.
Makes it
makes
super hard
it
to
so
preview.
hard.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
Oh man.
So moving on to the lightweight division. Again, I'm going champion Jackson
Feather.
guy. Featherweight division. We have a matchup I'm really excited for. We've seen it a couple of times. Isaac Dodelin versus Diego Pato Oliveira is probably going to be your
It's not going to be your final because it's only
Final of bracket 1.
Oh,
final,
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
your
yeah,
final of bracket 1. And then whoever wins that probably wins the whole thing. But on the other end of the bracket, the second end of the bracket, we have Sam Nagai and versus Sam Nagai, potentially in Sam Nagai's next match, not his first match, his second match, we can see possibly him go against Cole Abate. If Cole Abate can get past Sebastian Onesta, which will be interesting. Again, Cole looked very, very good. He's looked very, very good at black belt. He's not won a major. No, he has won not a gi major yet. But looked very good. To see him go against, he's ranked number 12 right now. To see him go against would be really interesting. This division's really cool because Sam Nagai is your 2023 world champion, and Isaac Doderlin is your 2022 world champion. We also in the division have Pato, who's your 2024 world champion. I always like featherweight because they are my people. And typically, you always have You always have a collection of returning champions. Like featherweight, for some reason, guys tend to just be there for a couple of years. They don't have one and then never come back. You tend to get even in MMA, you tend to have a whole kind of stable of former champions.
They linger
in a division. Yeah, they have some staying power, which I really like to see. I would love to see a Cole Abate and Sam Nagai match. I would also love to see the rematch between Isaac Doderlin and Pato. Now, Josh and I watched 2 matches. I didn't pull the record for Doderlin and Pato, but Josh and I watched 2 matches, one from 5 years ago.
24. The one was 4 years ago at the Jiu-Jitsu Expo.
Jiu-Jitsu Con, 2021.
Yep.
2021 Jiu-Jitsu Con, and we have Doderlin beating Oliveira, and it was close.
On points, but beating him, and then he beat him at UAE-JJF.
That was a year or 2 years prior.
That was 19.
I think that was 2019. I think is when that was, and that was Doderlin beating him. I think on points as well. Might have armbarred him.
No. It ended right as it was about to happen, but it was 4-0.
So Doderlin, at least in those matches, he has his number. What Josh and I were talking about on the pre-show. Yeah, 5 years ago, Pato was kind of a different
dude. 5 and 7 years,
dude. And also Doderlin. Doderlin
also a different dude.
Won the Worlds in 2022. That was 2.5 years ago at this point. I think Pato
3. It's 2025.
Yeah, but we're the Worlds happen at the end of the year, so it's we're still 2+.
Worlds happen in the middle of the year.
Middle end. It's all
it's all relative.
2020 and 2021 screwed up my entire time scale for when the Worlds happens, and I'm just so confused.
Yes.
I think Pato has improved significantly since those matchups in 2018, 2019, 2021. I think Doderlin has also improved, but I think the rate of improvement that Pato has seen, again, mostly in Nogi, but also, again, you're the returning world champion right now. He won the Worlds last year. I think that Pato may be able to, will beat him in this matchup. I think they have a more recent match in a more recent Worlds. I think maybe this might have even been
maybe no
last year's World Final or semifinal.
I thought he was light feather last year.
I don't remember. I think Pato has recently beaten him, but the 2 matches that we watched, I was just curious. I clicked really quickly before the show as we were trying to find everything in Sapateiro, everything else going on. I think Pato takes this whole thing. I think he takes it over Sam. I think he takes it over everyone. Pato has looked unstoppable since coming to AOJ. Unless you were a decision in this last week's event. So, Josh, what do you have thoughts? That's my hot take for the day.
I mean, I agree with you. I would be supremely bummed if it ended up being Pato versus Cole Abate at the end because they won't go against each other.
Oh, that'll suck. I hate that.
And I would also be extremely bummed if they gave it to Abate. If they ended up going against one another.
I mean, allegedly, Pato's the guy that broke Cole's foot in training.
Probably accidentally. Who likes tapping the footlocks, straight footlocks? Nobody.
Nobody at AOJ.
Nobody. Well, no, nobody in general. You get straight footlocked and you're like, I don't want to tap this.
Rachel has sprained my foot a couple of times.
Yeah, well, that's because you're a stubborn idiot. Mm-hmm. But people don't like tapping to them because they're like, they're not that good. They are, and sometimes shit happens. But I just don't want I don't like
closeouts. I don't want to see that.
I don't like closeouts either, and that's my main issue is I don't like closeouts. So, and this isn't a thing against Cole. I want Cole to
earn it.
Cole
as
has
an
more.
as an up and coming
Cole has
American
more
black
time.
belt. I would love for him to like actually earn it. To whereas if Pato loses and it's Isaac and it becomes Isaac versus Cole, that becomes infinitely more interesting than Diego versus Cole
in a closeout.
And a closeout.
Any match is more interesting than a closeout. Like closeouts are the dumbest thing we accept in the sport.
And
They're
Isaac isn't like
dumb.
an old man, but it's kind of like last generation's lightweight versus the new generation lightweight. So that would be far more interesting than Pato versus Cole,
which they're not going to see anyway. So it's it is an interesting division. I hope it doesn't end in a closeout. Now that you've spoken it into existence, it's possible. But again, Cole
he's got to get past Sam Nagai too,
and he's got to get past Sebastian Ernesto, and then he's got to get past potentially whoever. Oh yeah, he's got his work cut out for him. It is very. Oh yeah, sorry, Sam Nagai wouldn't even been his finals match for that bracket. If he wins that, whoever wins that still has to go on against the other side of the bracket again.
Potentially one of his teammates,
which they would close out, which
higher ranked than him. Points wise.
Yep. So, Guillermo Rodriguez. So we will.
Maine briefly got really excited and was like, "That's not Guy Mendez."
I was like, "Is it Guy Mendez?"
No.
I was like, "I know it's not Guy Mendez, but it's an AOJ guy named Guillermo." And I was like, "It could be, Josh. It could be." They may be like, "I don't care about the band. I don't care about the rules that we set up when we retired because we had to. I don't care about any of that." And then it wasn't, and I was like, "That's the reality we live in." So that was featherweight. Again, I think Pato takes the whole thing, but this could be a very interesting division. On to light featherweight, we have Malachi Edmonds sitting in your number 2 spot. We have a division of 23 in total, and in your number 1 spot,
Baby Shark.
we got Baby Shark. I'm not betting against Baby Shark, but
dude, he's been on a tear.
We are gonna see potentially a very interesting match. Potentially Zach Kina. We're going to see another interesting match, a rematch between Zach Kina and Baby Shark. Again, I think Baby Shark takes it. I really like what we're seeing from Zach, but he doesn't quite have that level of consistency. Like I pulled a record for him a couple of weeks ago.
When I was on the show last.
Was it really?
It was for Who's Number 1.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah. He's not quite as consistent. Dude, Baby Shark is just.
And I ain't gonna lie, like
bulletproof.
Shoya Ishiguro, Carpe Diem.
Yeah,
those dudes are always solid and will throw a wrench in anybody's bracket.
Is Tamayuki still here or no?
Hashimoto.
Yeah, Hashimoto. He retired, I think, a little.
I think he had a kid.
Oh, good for him.
I think he had a kid, and he was a rooster weight. So he wouldn't be in this division anyway.
Light feather's not rooster weight, is it? Yeah. I think that we have a final between Baby Shark and Malachi. I think Malachi.
Have they gone against each other?
They have, and I have no idea how it went.
I think he lost on points.
Mm-hmm. So that's I think your number 1, number 2. They both win their sides of the bracket. Again, Baby Shark is just so hard to consistently win. It's so hard to like beat unless you're like Pato. And even then, it's kind of odd. And then Malachi Higgins look good. I think Malachi is the 2021 world champion. One of those weird years. He's the world champion there. I got second at the Worlds that year. Moving on to the Roosterweight division. We have a division of 10, one of the smaller men's divisions. Babito Oliveira from GF Team.
They had the match last year.
Okay.
Rubber match it, not.
Yeah, they've had a couple of matches. They've had a couple back and forth. I think at Roosterweight, we have Tadai Danforth also there. We have Wellison Goncalves from Novo Uniao. Tadai and him have a first-round matchup. We have Yuri Hendricks is going to get a bye to the quarters. And then...
He's got to go against up top. You got to look
quarter,
up top there.
Semi-final. So bye to the quarters.
Oh,
yeah.
Whatever.
It's, again, IBJJF and the way that they show a bracket is the most complicated way ever you could possibly do that. Just literally one small formatting change makes this way easier to view, but that's fine. What do I know? I've only been doing this for a long time. Again, I think Babito. But again, this is a hard one to call because it's rooster weight, and a lot of stuff can get upset very quickly. Anything else on this, Josh?
No.
So that is all the men's divisions. Let's move into the women's divisions. We have
huge division.
Super heavyweight division of 2. We have Gabby Pisana versus Isabel Lemos. Gabi Pasana is your 2022, 2023, 2024 world champion. She has
a billion Grand Slam points.
2,872 points, and she has 2,565 Grand Slam points. Isabel, the number 2 ranked woman in the division, has 0 Grand Slam points and 100 overall points. No one can beat Gabi Pasana right now in the gi. Next division.
Okay, here's the thing. What is she going to do? Like, is she trying to beat Buchecha's record and then be like, I am the winningest, most IBJJF champion? Where does she go from there?
I'm really curious as well. Again, I'd love to see more super fights. I think IBJJF, the problem is at super heavyweight, she does not have the depth of field in competition.
She's got the Gabby Garcia problem.
Yes, in the same way, like women named Gabby in super heavyweight have this problem where it's like you are such a dominating force in your division. There's just not a whole lot of competition for her to showcase her skills. We've seen her win the crown. We've seen her win bigger divisions. We've seen her win open class. Like, she can do it, but in her division, she does have a lack of competitors in most of her tournaments, and it kind of makes you go, she's in a very weird spot competitively. I'd love to see her more super fights. Get more events that showcase her in the gi. She's making the transition over to no gi, which is really what I want to see, because I think there's much more interesting matchups for her for that bigger women
like
in
plus 60 division.
Yes,
yeah, for
I
sure.
think there are much more interesting matchups to be made for her in no gi than there are in gi, and also. Right now, she's kind of cleaned out all of her contemporaries. She's cleaned out the folks before her, the current champions. Like, there's not a lot of interesting matches for me to see from her. I think in the gi, in no gi, there are much more interesting mountains to climb for her.
So
and I would love to see it.
I really don't see a way of anybody beating her in a one-on-one match. Like, I legitimately think they would have to have 2 people. Or like a tag style match for her. Like
I think the problem is
I wish that was a joke, but it's not. Because I think that's the only way that she legitimately loses. Yes, she's lost before in recent years, but it was like a close one.
Yeah, I think really her game is very, very good for IBJJF. I am very curious if she is pushed into a rule set that will require more activity from her, from she has someone that can physically match her. I am very curious to see how her game plays out in that way.
I bet you she can put on a pace. She just doesn't have to.
I think
she games the system.
She does, absolutely.
And
I think she should, because that's the system she is playing in. But again, I want to see another rule set push her in a way, because I'm curious about other aspects of her game that we're just not typically seeing in IBJJF.
Yes.
So, you got anything else on that?
No.
Moving on to the heavyweight division, Larissa Almeida, Isidora Cristina are your number 1 and 2. We also have Maria Miliasic, as always in the division, at the heavyweight division.
Perennial contender.
Larissa Diaz is your 2022 world champion. This is a tough one for me to call. I'm not offhand super familiar with all of their games. Isidora Cristina is always in the mix. Again, Dream Art's a phenomenal team. Versus from Ring 1. These 3 ladies, I think, are going to... Yeah. And Annabelle Lopez is also from Checkmat, is in this division as well. It is a division of 5 with number 5th ranked Carolina Silva Komori from Gracie Barra, also in here as well. I think it comes down to Isildur and Larissa.
Isadora. I like how you're saying Isildur like...
Isildur. Like, I'm the one... Like
you're the she's in fucking Lord of the Rings.
Isildur. Maybe that's where I got it from.
You're just mixing everything together now. All of your information is melting together.
It does do that in my brain. Josh, do you have any thoughts on this one?
I think Larissa takes it.
Okay. Moving on to the medium heavyweight division, Ariel Laverne is in here from Six Blades. I like her game. I like what she's been doing. She is the one that's out of Six Blades, out of, not Papua New Guinea, French Guiana. And she always shows up. That's her.
Oh, yeah.
And Miranda and I have been really, really excited about her game. Nadia Franklin from Athos is also in here. Could upset. Number 2, Maria Carolina from AOJ. Again, should be a fun division. I don't know how it's playing out other than Ariella getting that bye into the semis. will probably move on. Would not surprise me to see her in the finals against someone on the other side. Nia Blackman, also who had that really competitive match with Helena Cravar recently, is on the opposite side of the bracket. Seeing her go into the finals or into the semis very strongly wouldn't surprise me either. Again, it's a bit of a toss-up division for me, but should be fun. Onto the middleweight division, a much bigger women's division. We have a division of 16.
Vanessa Griffin ranked number 1.
Elizabeth Clay ranked number 2.
Yes.
On the second slot
and
there.
They have run into each other so many times.
At the colored belts a lot.
Well, even at black belt.
Yeah, even at black belt.
And I think Vanessa is, in the lead at black belt at least 2 or 3
I think that's
matches.
correct. I think Elizabeth has also beaten her, but
She has.
This is a
but
matchup
not
that
recently.
I always get confused about where they sit currently. It's both have tools to win. I think the way that Vanessa has beat her recently is more repeatable in my head. It was like it seemed like a game plan that was slowing her down, getting the initiative, getting on top, moving around, and playing out of Clay's guard and not letting Clay really ever get
work the 50-50, the knee bar positions and things
get out
like
of
that.
those. If I'm remembering that correctly, again, this is a huge division. Nikki Lloyd Griffiths is also in here in the 9th slot on the other end of the bracket on the same side as Clay. So potentially we're going to see that matchup. Again, this is a very big division for the women. The two biggest names that I recognize are Vanessa Griffith and Elizabeth Clay. I really wouldn't be surprised to see them in the finals. Elizabeth Clay looked phenomenal recently. She did have that really tough match with Brianna St. Marie that she got submitted very quickly at who's number 1, but they go back and forth. Yeah. Yeah, and then
I didn't want to speak out of turn.
And then
on that
she
one.
won the Worlds or something. Or won like a major. Yeah. Yeah, Josh.
Scroll down to number 2. Yeah. See?
Yeah, but okay.
Oh, maybe in like Nogi or something like that.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, she won like Nogi Worlds or something. Had a child, won Nogi Worlds.
I just couldn't remember. Like, I was like,
That's
was
good,
it
Josh.
somebody else?
I very much appreciate the way you did that.
I wasn't just going to blurt it and just seem like a dipshit.
Again, I think that's how this shakes
think
out.
that,
You're
yeah.
number 1 and 2. Again, it's a big division. There's going to be upsets. It wouldn't surprise me to see an upset, but also Clay and Vanessa have been around for a long time. I remember watching Vanessa at Purple Belt, like locally, just
Local stuff,
demolish people. I was like,
Same thing with
this
Clay.
is
Like,
unfair.
she
Yeah.
was a blue belt and she won ADCC
trials, yeah. And then she kept getting DQ'd in other divisions because she used that knee bar sweep and it wasn't allowed in her divisions. And it's like, this is so dumb. And then finally she gets to black belt and you're like, thank God you can use this again. Again, I'm excited for it. I do like watching this matchup every time. It is always exciting. Moving on to the lightweight division for the women, we have a division of 14. Beatrice Jin is in this division, a local to us from Kogan. Been really, really excited to see her compete. She's always fun to watch. Luisa Montero's in here from Atos, your 2024 world champion.
I thought she retired.
Yeah, but you win a world title, it's like,
I thought she retired.
maybe get another one. And Jaina Maya from Mendez is also, is from AOJ on the other side of the bracket. Those are your two big names in the bracket.
Janaina, I think they're just gonna slam into each other.
I would love to see Jaina and Beatrice Jin because that's a potential matchup we're gonna see in the round of 8. No, sorry, in the quarterfinals actually. That would be really really fun match to see in the quarterfinals. We also have Amanda Bruce as well on the top end of that bracket. I think that right side of the bracket is really fun.
For sure.
That should be a really fun side of the bracket.
I still think we see Louisa and Janaina run into each other in the finals.
Luis is just such a veteran.
She's just a solid competitor.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare. I can't recall the last time I've seen her knocked out not in the semifinals or finals.
I also don't recall.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So that is the lightweight division. On the featherweight division, we have a division of 13. Larissa Campos from AOJ is in your number 1 slot. We have Marina Luna Nunez Pinto in your number 2 slot. Let's see. This is, again, a division. We have Cassia Mora. So Cassia Mora is in this division in your number 6 slot. It would not surprise me to have Kassiamora take this. Kassiamora went from blue to black in like 12 months. Mona Bailey's also in this division as well. She's a black belt finally.
Finally.
We covered her. She was one of the few kids that we covered for years on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. She potentially, if she gets by Carolina Bernicio.
We missed that up top, too. Tubby Aliquin.
Oh, Tubby Aliquin's in there. This is a fun division.
Was she a world champion?
In the lower belts, I think.
I thought she was one as...
Nogi, maybe.
Go down.
Not in the gi.
She's right there. Not in the gi, I get.
Yeah, not
whatever.
In the gi. I wish it showed both. I get they're different.
It would make sense.
Just like, hey, man, you won an IBJJF world title. Just put Masters up there, too. Just give me the information. Add 3 more titles. Add 3 more columns. Just show me,
Just make sure you don't show the full name.
That would be too convenient, Josh. Like, all these blank titles, world champion, last 3 editions, no names. Last world title, no. Just give me,
Or if they were just collapsible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kassiamora has that world title here because she won it in the gi. So, again, seeing Kassiamora have a breakout, she faces, she's on the same side as Alyssa Campos. She's on the same side as Mona Bailey. Elizabeth Lira is also on that side of the bracket. That's Kassiamora's first match. This is going to be a shake-up division. Seeing Alyssa Campo take it doesn't surprise me, but Kassiamora's gonna take one eventually. Again, but her lead into black belt has not been quite as smooth as her lead into the other divisions. But it wouldn't surprise me to see her put it together quickly. She's my big dark horse for this division. Should be fun. Abby O'Toole is also here from Hodger Gracie. This should be a real fun division. I'm not going to make a pick here, but it should be a very fun one to watch.
These are like the 3 and 4 o'clock matches.
Yeah. Watch these live. On the black belt light feather division, we have a division of 8. Brenda Larissa is here in your second slot. Maisa Bastos is here in your first slot. I really think this is Maisa Bastos. She's got like 10 world titles, 5 gi, 5 no gi. So incredibly hard to beat at light feather in the gi.
Beats everybody up.
She beats everyone up. I think this is Bastos' to take.
Do we get her versus Shelby Murphy from her gym in the finals? In the finals.
Because Shelby Murphy's on the other side of the bracket, but ranked number 3. But then I think it'd be a closeout for Bastos. They usually give it to the higher. That's the old school Brazilian way to do it, as opposed to just like pass the title around. Regardless, again, Maisa Bastos is such a pleasure to watch. We will cover her finals match, whoever it is, unless it's a closeout, and I will be mad about it if it is a closeout because I like to see Maisa Bastos compete. So that's that. That's light featherweight, and then we also have the rooster weight division. We have no open classes yet. We'll get those at a later date. Let's see. We have a division of 14 for the rooster weight for the women. We have Jessica Caroline from Freitas Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in your number 1 slot, and Thais Loreno. I was trying to cough there. Loreno from AOJ. Atos in your number 2 slot. I have no strong feelings about this bracket, honestly. A lot of names I'm not super familiar with, but
I can't remember.
Different Anna Carolina.
Yeah. She's blanking.
The woman we looked up.
Yes.
And
I'm still blanking on it.
Yep. Again, should be fun, but that is rooster weight. Again, Jessica Carolina and Thais are your two front runners. Thais are your 2 front runners in that division. And that does it for preview, Josh. Any kind of closing thoughts on IBJJF Pans preview?
I'm going to be doing what I always do during Pans and Worlds, which would be being at work on the first day and having a computer opened while I'm working and having it playing quietly in the background.
The classic.
I'm not kidding. Like, I do recall COVID was the last time I didn't have something at work watching those things going on when they were normally supposed to be going on.
Commitment to the cause, Josh. So that's all I got, Josh. I mean, we got through the show, even with all the technical issues and the enormous puddle of water. And I have a pipe, by the way, and if you missed it, I ran out. I took the pipe out of the bucket. I put it out of the window and closed the window. So I got to deal with that right now.
Oh, fun.
That's my day.
We were talking about plumbing issues before, and I was like, why don't you try this? And he goes, how about I have somebody coming over Wednesday? And I was like, fair enough.
It's been a whole weekend of that. And I found out my house had hot tub parts used that you can't find.
Oh, that was for hot tub.
That's why you can't find it, and that's why it was so weird. So
I also criticized his drywall skills.
It was great. We're gonna get there, but Josh,
the studio, I'm telling you, once it's done, you guys are going to be like, this is sick. I'm glad you guys took the time, and by you guys, I mean Maine, took the time and made a legitimate studio. It looks really cool down there, other than it's kind of messy at the moment. I look forward to being in there and doing the show and it eating any sound that goes anywhere, and also the sound of tiny dogs running around making noises.
they do be running around. So
They do be.
that's good, Josh. Anything else on the show? Anything else you got for the week? That's it.
Training. I got to make things. I have to run a restaurant. You know, the usual.
The usual. I got to edit this podcast, and then I got to watch Sapateiro. So, as always in the show, I'm your host, Maine, to my co-host,
Josh.
We are the Grappling Rants, and that what it is. Stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
Let us know.
reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.